Awesome. Well, hi, everybody. Hi, welcome, welcome. My name is Melissa C. I'm a recovered compulsive overeater. I live in New York and happy to be here. Always happy to be here on Monday night. And welcome to those that are new to Recovery Jam. We're happy that you're here with us. And yeah, so this part of the workshop will be recorded, and then we'll shut the recording off and we'll have opportunity for questions. So I'm going to jump in tonight. The topic that we're going to talk about are the beautiful promises associated with step five, and that it's more than just that list of the fifth step promises. And the steps, all of the steps really have pretty much promises that if we take this step thoroughly, we get certain rewards, right? We get certain things, we're guaranteed it. So give you a quick little background of who I am. I am a hopeless, I was a hopeless compulsive overeater. I suffered with morbid obesity. I was always on a diet from the time I was 9 years old, dieting or just blowing the diet. I never could eat. Um, I never could eat the way that I wanted to, and enjoy it and control it. If I was enjoying it, I wasn't controlling it. And if I was controlling it, I wasn't enjoying it. And I hated the consequences of my food addiction, the way that I ate compulsively. I hated what it did to my body. I hated what it did to the way I felt. I really didn't feel very good most of the time. But I couldn't imagine my life without it. I couldn't even picture, it just seemed crazy to me to have to live the rest of my life without eating certain foods, and basically, gorging myself all the time. And then I, experienced a miracle, just a miracle of recovery where I had reached a point where I could no longer stand what it felt like to live inside my own skin. And that I became really willing to do anything um, to have relief from the merciless obsession. At that point, it wasn't even so much of the weight, although I was morbidly obese. I just did not, I didn't want to feel the way that I was feeling anymore. And so I surrendered and followed the directions in this book. And God did for me that which I could not do for myself. He removed the obsession. He removed the consequences of being a compulsive overeater, meaning like the morbid obesity was gone. I've been living in a normal body size, regular, normal body size for years now. Same size, everything fits. It's like there's nothing interesting necessarily about the size of my body anymore. It's not even an issue. It's not even a topic. I've gone to the doctor a lot recently, just had like little things that went on this year. And not once did one doctor say anything to me in any way, shape, or form about my eating or my weight. It wasn't even part of the dialogue. And that is, I want to say like that's not even one of the promises associated with step five, although it kind of is, because there are aspects of that here. So what are the promises associated with step five? We read it at after taking the fifth step, but I'm kind of jump in, and we'll be mostly in the AA 12 and 12, but a little bit in the big book as well. So here's the promises associated, and this is, in the big book on page 75. It says, once we've taken this step, withholding nothing, we are delighted. We can look the world in the eye. We can be alone at perfect peace and ease. Our fears fall from us. We begin to feel the nearness of our Creator. We may have had certain spiritual beliefs, but now we begin to have a spiritual experience. And the feeling that the drink problem or the food problem for me and for us has disappeared will often come strongly. And we feel we're on the broad highway, walking hand in hand with the spirit of the universe. So here's what step 5 promises us: one, sobriety; two, kinship with man; three, feeling authentically ourselves; four, forgiveness for ourselves and others; five, humility; six, peace of mind and serenity; and seven, feeling the presence of God. Those are the things that we get. So in step 5, it says admit it to God and to ourselves and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. So those are the promises we get when we do that, right? Admit to God, to another human being, and to yourself the exact nature of our wrongs. And page 55 in the AA 12 and 12 says, when it comes to ego deflation, few steps are harder to take than 5. But scarcely any step is more necessary to long-term sobriety and peace of mind than this one. So, yeah, number 1, step 5 gives us sobriety. At this point, right, when we do our 5th step, we do it abstinently. We're already abstinent. And it becomes painfully clear that we're not going to have any long-term recovery unless we have serenity. Like, most of us put the food down, and it's like we are really not very serene. Maybe for a moment, but then everything starts coming back up. And we're not going to have recovery unless we have serenity and peace of mind. And, for me, my inventory brought to the front of my mind all the resentments, all the fears and harms. And without step 5, we are to be forever owned by those skeletons. Like, just taking our inventory and not revealing it to anybody is an awful lot to walk through. And so usually when I'm working with sponsees and they're working on their 4th step, I tell them, like, chop chop, like, because you're in the swamp and you don't want to hang out in the swamp. You want to get through to the other side, right? And we find that denial is busted away, right? In our inventory. What happens as we're doing this inventory? Oh my gosh, there's no more denial. It's like right there in my face. And I'm going to have to live with the awful truth, whatever it was, real or imagined, that I have been blotting out by my food and behaviors, right? I'm abstinent, and now I'm looking at everything. And it says in the AA 12 and 12, we cannot live alone with our pressing problems. Then the need to quit living by ourselves with those tormenting ghosts of yesterday gets more urgent than ever. We have to talk to somebody about them. So in recovery, we come to see that we're cut off from our honest selves. That was my truth. I was cut off from authentic me, the honest me, and from God's purpose for me and from my fellow man. Like, I felt cut off from those things. And, it's addicts live in isolation, often right in the middle of a family, right in the middle of a community, right in the middle of a family. They're isolated. And in step 5, we are going to get entirely honest with another human. In fact, it's urgent that we quit living cut off from others. And oftentimes, I was going to show some photos in the beginning, but oftentimes I show these photos of myself throughout the disease. And there's one in particular of me and my sister and my sister-in-laws. And you can see, besides the fact that I am like twice the size of them, right? I'm like Really, I just twice the size of them. I'm like vacant in the face. Like I am in the room with them, but I am not in the room with them. And for me, I'm I'm part of a big family. And at times I felt like I was like in a glass cage, like right in the middle of my family and somehow like separate, removed. Bottom of page 55 says this: we search for an easier way, which usually consists of the general and fairly painless admission that when we were drinking, we were sometimes bad, right? Then, for good measure, we add traumatic descriptions of that part of our drinking or that part of our eating behavior, which our friends probably know about anyway. So it's not uncommon, for people to say things like, oh, when I was in the food, I was selfish. When I was in the food, I stole candy. Or, when I was in the food, I threw out things that my family wanted to eat because I couldn't handle having it around the house, right? Okay, so we say those things, yeah, obvious. Those are obvious things. And, but it says, but of the things which really bother and burn us, we say nothing. Like the big stuff, we don't say very much about at all. Um, Certain distressing or humiliating memories we tell ourselves ought not to be shared with anyone. These will remain our secret. Not a soul must ever know. We hope they'll go to the grave with us. So, our fifth step is not merely an account of the harm we did in direct relation to the food. Rather, it's the things that had sometimes almost nothing to do with the food itself. That really painful and embarrassing events are the ones that need to be shared. Why? Why do I have to share the painful and embarrassing stuff and not just like what I did when I was eating? Because holding back on step 5 will cause us to eat. It's a guarantee, right? Page 56 says some people are unable to stay sober at all. Others will relapse periodically until they really clean house. If you carry the load alone, you'll suffer irritability, anxiety or remorse, and depression. And so, all those things, irritation, anxiety, remorse, regret, depression, those are the perfect environment for a relapse. That is like the petri dish to grow a relapse, right? Add all those things. And so, it's not the circumstances that attribute to the irritations, right? It's not my circumstances. It's the way that I perceived my circumstances. So while we know today that our problems are not actually our bosses, like that's not really our problem, right? Our problem isn't our bosses. It's not our mother-in-laws. It's not your spouse. It's not your neighbor. It's your reaction to your bosses, your mother-in-laws, your spouses, your neighbors. It's the way we react to it. And in order to get a new way to respond and react, we need a fifth step. And without a fifth step, we're going to be living in a state where the only relief is going to come in the form of the food. So it's the way I perceive those things. And really, step 5 is about getting a new perspective. It's, step 5 is an attitude adjustment. It's getting a new attitude. It's changing our attitudes about our circumstances. Bottom of page 56 to 57 says most of us would declare that without a fearless admission of our defects to another human being, we could not stay sober. It seems plain that the grace of God will not enter to expel our destructive obsessions until we are willing to try this. And so this is exactly what most of us came here for. I needed God to expel, to force out, right? the destructive obsession with food. I didn't need a better food plan, right? I've known, remember I told you, I've been dieting since I'm 9 years old. And I probably, once I realized I could not moderate, I knew pretty well what my food plan ought to be, roughly, right? I needed some nutritional guidelines. I might have needed a nutritionist, or I needed like the OA plan of eating. I needed something. But it's not really, it wasn't really the food. I didn't need a better food plan and I didn't come, I have to say, I didn't come looking for new friends or because I didn't know what to do on a Monday night. Like, that wasn't really my reason why I came. Of course, I got new friends and I got an amazing thing to do on a Monday night. That wasn't why I came. I came because I could not keep myself from destroying myself, right? In my earlier times in OA, I did not fearlessly admit anything. I didn't. I blamed, I judged, I complained, and I always wound up eating again, right? I ate. So, okay, so now number two, what does step five give us? It gives us kinship with man. Okay. Page 57 says, what are we likely to receive from step five? For one thing, we shall get rid of that terrible sense of isolation we've always had. Almost without exception, alcoholics are tortured by loneliness. Even before our drinking got bad and people began to cut us off, nearly all of us suffered the feeling that we didn't quite belong. Either we were shy or we were apt to be noisy, craving attention and companionship, but never getting it. There was a mysterious barrier. I mean, when I read that and I think, oh my gosh, I'm really not alone. Like, I'm not the only one who walked around feeling separate and different. Like there was that glass, wall around me and the rest of the world. I mean, clearly it's in the book, so it's a shared experience. This point always brings me back to something that I used to say. I always used to say this. I just can't do this. I used to say that I can't do this. I just can't do this. I just can't get this. And I wondered why it was that I couldn't get it on my own. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't get this. And, news alert, because we weren't never meant to get it on our own. This is not an independent study. No wonder why I didn't get it. You know, I couldn't. I couldn't. This spiritual program of action is a joint effort. It's action in community. It's not an independent study. It is meant to be done together. The loneliness, the isolation, it's a common characteristic that so many of us have lived with. I could be in a crowd. I could be talking it up, seemingly like I am not feeling alone and isolated, but inside feeling very much alone, just putting on a show so that it appears like I'm not, right? And that was my go-to. You know, um, I have this huge family, people who genuinely love me. And I never felt growing up, I never felt like I got enough. And I always felt different and I always felt alone. And I would either quietly pout or internally criticize, or I was overly dramatic and trying to hijack the attention in the conversation. And still, I felt alone. You know, I would have told you that I didn't get enough attention growing up. And my siblings would say that is the biggest lie because they would say, you got all the attention. You were constantly grabbing up the attention. But I didn't have a clear perspective. I saw my life through my self-centered lens and it was never enough. Nothing was enough, right? Step five, number three, step five gives us the ability to be our authentic selves. And page 57 says, halfway through the first paragraph, it was as if we were actors on a stage. suddenly realizing that we did not know a single line of our parts. So here's another common feeling many of us have. It's that imposter feeling. A lot of us have had that experience, like, I'm faking my way through life. I often felt like, I heard someone say this one time and my jaw dropped because this was what it was like for me. I felt like everybody in the world got a set of directions, a manual for living, for figuring things out, and somehow I was overlooked and never got it. It was almost like I missed 2 weeks of a math class and then I'm trying to figure out what's going on. That's what it always felt like for me. Like I'm missing something. I didn't quite get the directions. And what I came to see was that I was spending so much of my life trying to convince others that I was somewhat better than I believed myself to be. I didn't really feel very good inside, but I was going to really work hard on convincing you that I was okay. And I was the president of the PR for Melissa. I was the president of the public relations. That was my job. And yet in my heart, I felt like I had the worst product that I was trying to sell you. I'm going to convince you that it's a great product, but inside, I don't feel very good about it at all. And my fifth step was when I finally got honest and I stopped worrying so much about my reputation, what you thought of me, and I started working on my integrity, what God and I think of me, right? And I saw that there were things about me actually that really did need to change. There were aspects of me that needed some work. And I mean, right, I knew stealing was wrong and I wanted to live a certain way. And yet I was at times so enslaved by the food that I just could not live in agreement with my own moral code. I did things because I needed my needs met. I wanted my needs met so much. I would steal candy from colleagues. I took from my kids, right? All their Halloween candy, all their Easter candy. I wanted to be a caring and loving friend, and I was in certain aspects, and yet I would cancel on my friends last minute when I felt fat, when something didn't fit. I missed a dear friend's funeral because I was so upset and obsessed with how much weight I had gained. I didn't want her siblings to see how much weight I had gained. I mean, talk about self centered. Like, rather than think about showing up to offer them comfort, I was consumed with what I looked like and what they were going to think of me. And, and in my heart, I was a caring confidant. And yet I sat across the table from a close friend as she's crying about the breakup of her marriage. She was getting divorced. And the only thing I could hear was the bread on the table. I could barely hear my friend. And my mind was so focused on the bread and on the likelihood that she was going to want to order dessert because she felt really cruddy. I'm sure she's going to want to eat dessert. And I was almost glad for it, right? I'm glad she's feeling so shitty. So I could order dessert with her, right? That's the self-centered nature of this disease. And I couldn't care because the food insisted that I care more for it than anything else, right? It was my master. It put itself above everything. And I think that's what it means to be an addict. And I would be terrified that someone would be able to read my mind. I used to have this fear. What if people are able to read my mind? What if this person is actually able to read my thoughts? They would be horrified by what a horrible liar and an awful person I was, right? Bottom of page 57 says this. Step 5 was the answer, right? You want to start feeling authentic. You want to start feeling honest and true about who you are. Step 5, it's the answer. It was the beginning of true kinship with man and with God. Okay, number 4, step 5 gives us forgiveness for ourselves. and for others. And page 57 through 58 says this: this vital step was also the means by which we began to get the feeling that we could be forgiven no matter what we had thought or done. Often it was while working on this step with our sponsors or spiritual advisors that we first felt truly able to forgive ourselves, no matter how deeply we felt they had wronged us. When we resolutely tackled step 5, that we were inwardly, we knew we'd be able to receive forgiveness and to give it. And I'm going to kind of circle back to that point because that is like a really big experience that step 5 had had for me. I'm going to continue. Number 5, step 5 gives us humility. And I love the way that the AA 12 and 12 defines humility. I think it's just a beautiful definition and one I turn to a lot. Page 58 says humility, a word often misunderstood. To those who have made progress in AA, it amounts to a clear recognition of what and who we really are, followed by a sincere attempt to become what we could be, right? So step 5 is an honest admission of my flaws and a sincere desire to be better, right? To be the best that I can be. So in step 5, we share our inventory so that we can get help identifying our defects, not so we feel like we're worthless pieces of trash, right? But so that we can strive to be who God intended us to be. And why can't we just do this on our own? Like, why can't this part of it be an independent study? Do we really, really need another person? Like, wouldn't it be enough that we just humble ourselves before God? We're told, no, you have to involve another person. And page 59 says this: hence, it was most evident that a solitary self appraisal and the admission of our defects based upon that alone wouldn't be nearly enough. We have to have outside help. If we were surely to know and admit the truth about ourselves, the help of God and another human being. And the book warns us that we find a solitary self appraisal insufficient. We have to get it out with another person. I have to have another set of eyes looking at what I've got, the stock in trade, and helping me identify, my closer handicaps, the problems that I have. Page 60 says, until we actually sit down and talk aloud about what we have so long hidden, our willingness to clean house is still largely theoretical. So we can talk all we want about cleaning house until we actually invite another person in when we're cleaning house. That's real house cleaning. When we are honest with another person, it confirms that we have been honest with ourselves and with God. It's like a confirmation of it. And I think the specific sentence that about a self-appraisal being insufficient is worth looking at closely. And it really does explain why another person is needed and not just the addict and God. I think about my house, when I hear about an appraisal, right? If you're going to appraise, usually you hear about it in your home. You're going to have your home appraised. And, um, you know, I, I can't discern what's really valuable and what's just sentimental, really. What it is in my home that's just a bunch of feelings and what it is that's valuable. I need another person, an outside of myself person, outside of my family person. We're actually told in your inventory, tell someone who will understand but be unaffected. So we need another set of eyes that's not so close. And, I think like if it's just me or somebody that's like real close to me and my family, I might give value to something that no longer has good purpose anymore. And I think like, okay, in my house, for example, if I were bringing an appraiser in, they would look at my bathroom. and they would say, oh my gosh, that bathroom needs work. You need some work there. It's like you have it's harvest gold, it's old, you've got like old tiles, there's a chip in the tub, right? I mean, that's the truth. And but I look at it and I say, oh, I bathed my children there when they were babies, right? Like I remember being in that bathroom with my mom, and my mom like folding the laundry when she would come and visit because I had to wash in my bathroom. Like I would have all these stories, all these reasons why I want to hang on to something, right? In this case, it's the bathroom. But let's think about our things about ourselves. It would be like, oh, that's why I'm like that. Like, I'm like that because of this. And I would have all these reasons why I wouldn't want to release and grow and change. And, so I need an appraiser. I need someone to come in and say, yeah, no, that tub's really ugly. That is not serving, that's not really a useful tub anymore. And, um, but I also need like a sponsor who's going to come in, who's gonna, she's gonna hear all my stories, my reasons, my justifications, but she's not going to support them. You know, she's gonna be kind, but she's gonna say, yeah, no, that's called resentment. That's called selfishness. That's fear, and that's dishonesty. And another person who really understands how these things are killing me and causing me problems will be able to point it out, and they're not going to support the lies I tell myself why I should get to feel this way, right? Why I'm entitled to feel like that. You know, we're warned on page 60 this that going it alone in spiritual matters is dangerous. It's worth noting that people of very high spiritual development almost always insist on checking with friends or spiritual advisors the guidance they feel they've received from God. And so I have to say, this doesn't just happen in step 5. This carries through all the way throughout recovery. In the beginning, it's suggested that a sponsee discusses decisions with their sponsor, you know, not because their sponsor is their boss or their life coach, but their sponsor is offering them guidance and has some experience. And you're supposed to ask someone who has what you want, right? And so you want someone who's going to offer you a little bit of guidance. And I have to tell you, it's something that we still continue to practice today. I still speak to my sponsor. I still run things by her. I have dear, trusted friends in this program, who I know are serious about living in the steps, who I can run things by. I believe in the practice of sharing my nightly inventory, my review. I think that that is a good way to allow other people to hear some of my stuff, to offer me some guidance. I put something in my inventory the other day, and one of my dear like sisters in recovery was like, hey, you want to talk about that? I saw something in there. Maybe you want to like discuss it. And I'm so glad that I have people. I don't live alone anymore. I don't have to go in alone. I can have another set of eyes. I can have humility and let somebody kind of shed some light on it. I there are two-way prayer partners are really a common practice. I believe that that is a great thing. I know there's 10-step trains and there's rotational prayer partners, and that's fine. I like the directions here about going to a friend or an advisor because I want to run my inspired notions with someone who knows me well, who understands my patterns, my behaviors, and who has a full working knowledge of my defects. And we're also given further information about who we should confide in. Page 61 says, we shall want to speak with someone who is experienced, who not only has stayed dry, but has been able to surmount other serious difficulties perhaps like our own. And page 62 says, before long, your listener may well tell a story or two about himself, which will place you even more at ease, right? So it's pretty clear that when you want someone, that you want someone with sobriety who has had some problems themselves and who is willing to share themselves with you. It's not, it's not just a one-way street. When we share it, when a sponsee gives their fifth step to the sponsor, I think the sponsor ought to share some of their hard things back because it creates an environment where there's a sense of trust, where there's a sense of comfort that you're not alone. Remember, we were promised kinship. And remember, the sponsor is not the great expert. We're not a surgeon. I'm not performing surgery on someone and they're going to lay on my table and I'm going to cut them open. This is a shared venture. We're looking to invite God in. So we share these things together. You know, it's pretty clear that you want someone with sobriety and we want someone who has had some experiences. So the sponsor or advisor can offer their own personal examples. And that's why I also believe that it's crucial that there's a friendship between a sponsor and a sponsee. And in my experience with step 5 as both the sponsee and the sponsor, there's a pattern that begins to emerge. We start seeing a pattern. And it's almost as though most of us have one or two main themes that run right through our lives. Every one of my resentments and fears, as I go through my inventory, they almost start looking the same. It's the same story. It's just I keep casting new characters in the starring roles or in the supporting roles, because really I'm the starring role, right? Every story is the same story. And I'd say it's almost like binge watching Law and Order. Like 3 episodes in, the whole story. Every story is the same. And I think it's really, um, I think someone who has some experience as a sponsor and who has lived these situations can begin to see the patterns. And if there's a trusting bond, can very gently but firmly move the fellow from the story to the self, right? Kind of move them like, oh, here we go again. Dun, 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 dun. Like, same story. And we go from self-pity and righteous indignation towards taking responsibility, right? Towards saying, oh, yeah, there we go again. I mean, I've got the same story. It's the same story for me, whether it's I'm not getting enough. I didn't get enough. They're not doing it my way. I want it all my way. Whether it's when I was 10, 3, high school, the workplace, right? It's sort of that same general story. Okay, number 6. Step 5 gives us peace of mind and serenity. Page 62 says the dammed up emotions of years break out of their confinement and miraculously vanish as soon as they are exposed. As the pain subsides, healing tranquility takes place. And when humility and serenity are so combined, something else of great moment is apt to occur. Right? So we get peace of mind and serenity. And what is it that's going to occur? Well, here we go. Number 7, step 5 gives us a connection with our higher power, and we experience feeling the presence of God. We begin to feel the nearness of our Creator. We feel Him close. Page 62 says many in AA, once agnostic or atheist, tells us that it was during this stage of step 5 that he first actually felt the presence of God. And even those who had faith already often become conscious of God as they never were before. Just want to kind of put in a point or a plug for a minute. I really delight in how many of the steps point out to us how we lose our agnosticism and atheist tendencies. And no disrespect, right? But this is a program where we are actually looking to form a relationship. And so if you come here atheist and you come here agnostic, our hope is that you're going to lose it, that you're going to lose that prejudice because we actually need to feel the nearness of our creator, right? It's essential. So we're going to start feeling conscious of God like you never did before. And here's my experience with step five is, I had this part of my story. Um, and, I had a lot, like a lot of us, right? I had a bunch of losses and I had like a few really difficult years where it was like one after the other compounding on me. And I was really mad. I was really angry about it. And I was angry at people in my life who I felt didn't show up for me the way that I think they should have. I felt like life was really hard for me and people should have done more for me. But the truth is that I really had a lot of guilt. I was walking around with a lot of guilty feelings, real or imagined. I felt very guilty. And there were things I believe that I did that possibly caused some of my losses. And I couldn't even say it out loud at the time. It was just the thing that I kept to myself. And what happened was I reached a point where I just had to be honest about it. And I shared the whole painful story. I sat upstairs in the church there's actually a Cornwall, New York. Man, those of you that came to the actual birthday party, upstairs there's a sanctuary. And that was the sanctuary I sat in when I told the whole story to my sponsor, everything. I opened up completely. And I said out loud the great burden of shame that I had been dragging around, afraid to just let it out. I said it. I just said it. And, my sponsor looked at me, and I'm so grateful for good sponsorship in this program because my sponsor looked at me with the most loving eyes, zero judgment. There was like no judgment on her part. And I knew she's not God, but I felt like God was using her to deliver a message. I really did feel that. She looked at me with the most loving eyes and she just said, Melissa, I just feel like God's forgiven you. I just really feel strongly that God's forgiven me. And when she said it, I knew I was forgiven. I just knew it. And I have to say, my life has never been the same since that day. Never. It was the whole world looked different. And it's interesting because I'm not the only person who has had this very specific experience. I looked outside at the sky afterwards, and the sky looked different. The trees against the sky looked crisp, sharp. The whole world just appeared different to me. I all of a sudden it came flooding that all the people I was upset with, by the way, they were my siblings. I was really angry at my siblings. I felt like they didn't show up for me the way that I think they should have. And after I gave my inventory, after I told my guilt, the things that I was feeling, all of a sudden I remembered clear as day that these were the siblings that, I had lost a child. These were the siblings that arranged the whole funeral, that I just showed up that day. I don't remember anything. I have no idea who paid for it. I have no idea what happened. I just know I showed up and it happened and everything was arranged. And so my resentments, like, whoosh, they slipped away. I saw the reality as it was. I had a new perspective. I had that shift. I had an attitude adjustment. And not only did that happen, but I knew I was never going to have to use food again. I felt that real Not that I, not that it, it's not like I never ever had another food thought again, but it never had the teeth that it had before then. It never had the claws that it had before then. It was very different. And food stopped being a problem. It just stopped being a problem. It's not that I could eat anything and be okay, but that I knew I could not eat everything and I was completely okay with that. I was like, yeah, I don't care. And it really has never made an appearance since then. I just, you know, um I no longer had the desire to use food for anything other than nutrition. I felt the nearness of my creator, that incredible thing for me that I have to say is that I experience glimmers of this same miracle every time I'm fortunate enough to take someone's fifth step. I get to be a part of the miracle in other people's lives. And, sometimes when we take a fifth step with someone, it takes hours, like no joke. It's a lot of work. I don't do it in 2 minutes. I try to treat it with the seriousness that it deserves. This is like a mission, right? Um, but the time that I devote to taking someone's fifth step, I feel like I get back like tenfold. And so yeah, we're really quite blessed that here we go. We get these beautiful promises from step 5. And of course we know that we're then propelled to keep going, right? We are always propelled to keep going so that we can have that solid relationship with our creator, the one that we begin to feel the nearness of in step 5. And then we want so much to get closer and closer to it. And so we continue on. And with that, I'll pass. Thanks.